Good morning, students. Let's continue with the same chapter, Faraway Places. Open to page number 37. Can I come with you on your next voyage? He asked the captain. I can scrub the deck and clean the cabins, and you don't have to pay me anything. Now, we all know that Anil was really excited. He wanted to go on this journey, on this voyage with the captain. Now, he was asking for the permission from the captain. He wanted to know whether the captain will take him or not. And if he agrees, then Anil also said that he is comfortable cleaning the cabins and the deck. Captain McWhirr was taken aback, but a twinkle came into his eye. He was taken aback means he was little shocked to know that Anil wanted to go on a voyage with him. But there was a kind of hope in his eye, and he patted his back and laughed indulgently. You are just the person we want. We sail any day now, my boy. So you better get yourself ready. A little more cargo, and we will be steaming into the Arabian Sea. First call Aden, then Suez, and up the canal. So Captain was surprised to hear that Anil was willing to go on this voyage with him. However, Captain was a very kind and a generous kind of a person. He smiled and he patted on his back and said, Yes, you are the right person. You're the kind of a person we are looking for, right? And then he also said that, okay, just after a day or more, then we will be sailing towards the Arabian Sea. We are just waiting for some more cargo to be loaded, and then we are ready to sail. Will you tell me 1 or 2 days before we sail so that I can get my things ready? Asked Anil. Now, Anil was really excited. He really wanted to go on this voyage. So he asked the captain, but if please do let me know, please do inform me a day or two before so that I can prepare my things. I will do that, said the captain. But don't you think you should discuss this with your father? Your parents might not like being left alone so suddenly. So, captain, he indirectly said to Anil that I feel you should ask your father. You should take the permission from your father, because otherwise your parents will be in trouble. They'll be surprised to see that they are left alone so suddenly. Oh no, sir, I can't tell them. They wouldn't like it at all. You won't tell them, will you, Captain, sir? Now Anil wanted to keep it as a secret. He wanted the captain to hide this secret and make sure that this information is not passed on to his parents. He was really, hoping that the captain would keep this secret, and of course, and he'll not discuss it with Anil's parents. No, of course not, my boy, said Captain McWhirr with a huge wink. During the next 2 days, Anil remained at home, feverishly excited, busily making preparations for the voyage. Now, for the next 2 days, Anil stayed at home. He was very excited, right? And he was making all the necessary preparations for the voyage. He filled a pillowcase with some clothes and a penknife, a bar of chocolate, and hid the bundle in an old cupboard. Now, Anil was really smart. He took a pillow cover. He filled in some clothes in it that he would wear, a penknife, and a bar of chocolate. At dinner one evening, the conversation came around to the subject of ships, and Anil's mother spoke to her husband. I understand your friend, the captain of the cargo ship, sails tonight. Now, it was again one of the evenings when they all were sitting on the dinner table, Anil and his parents, and Anil's mother. She was talking to Anil's father when she said, Oh, I do understand that your friend, the captain, is sailing tonight. That's right, said the boy's father. We won't see him again for some time. So Anil's father, he confirmed to Anil's mother that yes, that is right. He is sailing away tonight and we will not be able to see him for a few days. Anil wanted to interrupt and inform them that Captain McWare wouldn't be sailing yet, but he didn't want to arouse his parents' suspicion. Now, Anil really wanted to interrupt their conversation and tell his parents that, see, the captain will not be sailing for a day or two more. However, he never did that. So, in order to save himself, and he never wanted to rouse any kind of suspicion as well. And yet, more he pondered over his mother's remark, the less certain he felt. However, he was, thinking. Pondering means thinking. He was thinking over his mother's comment, his mother's remark, and he was feeling uncertain that maybe the captain is actually sailing away tonight. Perhaps the ship was sailing that night. Perhaps the captain had mentioned the fact to Anil's parents so that the information could be passed on. After all, Anil hadn't been down to the docks for 2 days, and the captain couldn't have had the opportunity of notifying Anil of the ship's imminent departure. Now, Anil was a small boy, he was young, and he thought that maybe there might have been sudden change in the plans because of which the captain is sailing away tonight, and maybe he must have not got enough time to inform Anil about the sudden change, because of which he told Anil's parents so that the information could be passed on to him. Imminent departure, sudden departure. Anyway, Anil decided there was no time to lose. Anyway, Anil decided there was no time to lose. He went to his room and collecting the bundle of clothes, slipped out of the house. His parents were sitting out on the veranda, and for a while Anil stood outside in the gathering dusk. So it was the evening time, it was getting dark. Anil ran, he took out his pillowcase, and he came out of the house. He saw his parents sitting in the veranda. Right, so they were sitting outside. Anil stood outside in the gathering dusk while watching them. Now he was watching his parents and somehow he was feeling guilty. He was not happy with his decision, because he was not informing his parents. He was doing something impulsively. He was being impatient. He never informed his parents, and somewhere in his heart, he was well aware of the fact that he was doing something wrong. Right? He felt a pang of regret at having to leave them alone for so long. Now, while he was leaving, he felt a kind of a pain of regret that he was leaving his parents like this, and that too for a very long time, perhaps several months. He would like to take them along too, but he knew that wouldn't be practical. Perhaps when he had a ship of his own. Now he really wanted to take his parents along with him. But right now it was not at all practical. That's not possible. So he thought that maybe I'll take them along with me when I'll have my own ship. So he's not that bad kind of a child. He was very nice and innocent. He hurried down the garden path, and as soon as he was on the road to the docks, he broke into a run. He felt sure he had heard the hoot of the steamer. Now somehow this child, the moment he was, on the garden or on his path, he heard the hoot of the steamer, the kind of a honking sound of the steamer, and he understood that the ship was really leaving. Anil ran down the pier, breathing heavily, his bundle of clothes beginning to come undone. So while he was running, his clothes, they started falling off off from the bundle. He saw the steamer, but it was moving. It was moving slowly out of the harbor, sending the waves rippling back to the pier. Now, while he was running on the pier, he could see the moving steamer. The steamer was moving away, and the waves, rippling water, was coming towards the pier. So he was feeling somewhat as if his dreams were slipping away. "Captain," shouted Anil, "wait for me." Now, this poor boy, he kept shouting. A sailor standing in the bow waved to Anil, but that was all. Now, there was a sailor there, and he even waved. He said, he must have said bye, right, to Anil, but that was it. Anil stood at the end of the pier, waving his hands and shouting desperately, "Captain, oh Captain, so wait for me." Nobody answered him. The seagulls wheeling in the wake of the ship seemed to take up his cry. "Captain, Captain." Now there were seagulls, right? And they were wheeling around, moving around, and their sound was so loud that his Anil's voice could not be heard on the ship. So maybe he was shouting, he was calling for the captain. I'm sorry, but his voice was not heard by anyone. The ship drew farther away, gathering speed. Still Anil shouted in a hoarse, pleading voice, "Yokohama, Valparaiso, Santiago, London, all were slipping away forever." Now this boy, he was standing there. He could see the steamer moving away, and as the steamer was moving away, he felt his dreams slipping out of his hands. He stood alone on the pier, his bundle at his feet, the harbor lights beginning to twinkle, the girls wheeling around him. First call Aden, then Suez, and up the canal. But for Anil, there was only the empty house and the boredom of the schoolroom. Now there was no more journey for Anil. What was left for Anil? The same house and the same school. There was nothing new for him. Same boredom, same boring things that he already had. Next year, he told himself, Captain Macquarie would return. He would be back, and then Anil wouldn't make a mistake. So this boy, he told himself that next year, when the captain will come back, I will make sure that I'll not repeat the same mistake. He'd be on the ship long before it sailed. So he planned that he will be on the ship long before it would sail away. Right? Captain Macquarie had promised to take him along. And wasn't an adult's word to be trusted? So he is doubting. He's saying, like, Captain promised me. And is it that we should not trust an elder's word? And so he remained for a long time on the pier, staring out to sea until the steamer went over the horizon. Then he picked up his bundle and made for home. This year, next year, sometime, Yokohama, Valparaiso, Santiago, and London. So finally, he kept repeating the names, and he decided maybe not today, but surely I will have the right time when I will be sailing away. So he was quite surprised and shocked to know that even an elder like the captain will not, would not keep his word and will sail away, leaving Anil behind. Now Anil was left all alone with the same boredom, with the same house, with the same schoolroom. So he kept thinking about the places that he missed, and he also repeated that maybe not this year, but next year or maybe sometime after, I will surely go on a voyage. And of course, next year when Captain will come back, I will not make the same mistake. I'll be on the ship long before it would sail away. So finally, this boy, he was, left alone. Now, Captain, he could have taken him, but not without his father's permission. That was not possible, and because of which he just sailed away rather without taking Anil along with him. Right? New words. You have pier means jetty, harbor port, plied means journeyed, thunderous, loud, Gangplank, a piece of wood acting as a bridge between the bank and the ship. Voyage, journey, feverishly, tremendously, pondered, thought, wheeling, circling. Do one thing. Rather than starting with the question and answers, read the chapter, right? I really want you all to read the chapter nicely. Go through it, remember, you know, how Anil, he used to spend his time, and how one day he got to meet, he actually got to meet the captain of the ship, a person who was really cool and friendly kind of a person with a thunderous laugh. He was kind and generous, and he also gave a bar of chocolate to Anil. So he's a nice kind of a person. After that, if you've watched the videos, you've read the chapter, after that you have some question and answers. Let's see that. It is on page number 42. Okay. How did the captain receive Anil when he went to the ship on his own? Now, the ones who are watching the video, please open to page number 37. Open to page 37 and second last para. I'm repeating it. Second last para. It says, the next day Anil walked down the docks alone. From here, mark the answer number 1. The next day Anil walked down the docks alone and the captain lowered the gangplank specially for him. Anil's, okay, let me check the second part of the question. Okay, especially for him, Anil spent the entire day on board asking questions from the captain and the crew. He made friends quickly, and the following day, when he came aboard, they greeted him as though he was already one of them. 1, 2, 3, 4 lines is your first answer. Please open your ears and listen, and the answer number 1 is on page number 37, second last para. You have 4 lines from the next day till one of them. Answer number 2. Why did Anil's bundle of clothes begin to get undone? Turn to page number 39. Right, 39. Again, second last. Anil hurried down the garden path. It is written he hurried down. Remove he and write Anil. Anil hurried down the garden path as soon as he was on the road to the docks. He broke into a run. He felt sure he had heard the hoot of a steamer. Anil ran down the pier, breathing heavily, his bundle of clothes beginning to come undone. Till here. So, just 3 lines, page number 39, answer number 2. He hurried down the garden path. Cut he and write Anil hurried down the garden path. Till the line beginning to come undone. Answer number 3. Why was Anil there a long time after the ship had left? Page number 40. Okay, second line from the top. Anil stood at the end of the pier, waving his hands and shouting desperately. Leave one line and continue. Nobody answered him. Leave one line and then come to the next para. The ship drew further away, gathering speed. Leave that para, come down again. He stood alone on the pier, his bundle at his feet, the harbour lights beginning to twinkle and the girls wheeling around him. Clear? So 1, 2, 3, 4 lines, I've already told you. Mark them, that's your answer number 3. So why was he standing there for a long time? Because he was shocked. He was shocked to see that he was left alone. The ship was sailing away and his dreams were slipping away forever. Right? So the answer would be Anil stood at the end of the pier, waving his hands and shouting desperately. However, nobody answered him. The ship drew further away, gathering speed. As he stood alone on the pier, his bundle at his feet, the harbour lights beginning to twinkle, and the gulls wheeling around him, he could see all his dreams slipping away forever. Why did Anil start to doubt the trustworthiness of an adult's word? This answer you can leave. I'll help you with this answer, right? So till here, just go through it, okay? And or else I'll send you the answers if you're unable to do that. Please read the chapter nicely and prepare it nicely. So that is it for today. Thank you.